Welcome. I missed you last week. I didn't get to see your lovely faces. Oh, right. That's a bad line, Ken. Thank you for tuning in to this Wednesday afternoon, whatever you call this thing that we do. Last week, we had just finished our interlude retreat for church musicians. We had about 20 church musicians from all over the country who came together to talk and share and unload and get refreshed and renewed. It was a wonderful couple of days. I'm glad to be back. Today, we're focusing on love songs, but next week, oh goodness, next week we're starting a series of concerts that have me sort of excited and sort of scared at the same time. And I'll tell you more about those concerts in a little bit. But right now, I just want to say welcome. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to begin like this. Bring me a rose in the winter time, when it's hard to find. Bring me a rose in the winter time. I've got roses on my mind. Well, a rose is sweet most any time, and yet bring me a rose in the winter time. How easy we forget. Bring me a kiss when my baby's grown, when it's hard to find. Bring me a kiss when my baby's grown. I've got kisses on my mind. Well, a kiss is sweet most any time, and yet bring me a kiss when my baby's grown. How easy we forget. Bring me love in the autumn years, when it's hard to find. Oh, bring me love in the autumn years. I've got love in on my mind. Well, love is sweet most any time, and yet bring me love in the autumn years. How easy we forget. Bring me a rose in the winter time, when it's hard to find. Bring me a rose in the winter time. I've got roses on my mind. Well, a rose is sweet any time, and yet bring me a rose in the winter time. How easy we forget. As we begin, some thank yous. Thanks to Sonia, my daughter-in-law and videographer. Thanks to Jane, idea contributor and best supporter and best critic. Jane, who is radically involved in the next week's concert that we're doing. You'll hear more about that in a minute. Thanks to Robert at Fast Track Studios, who takes these videos and puts them on YouTube and adds the wonderful little sonic dimensions like reverb and things like that. Thanks to my special guest who will be on in a few minutes, Charlie Brown, the real Charlie Brown, not the cartoon guy, the real Charlie Brown, who is married to Robin Brown, and this is one of my favorite couples in all the world. Charlie will be on in a little while. Thanks to all of you for listening. Thanks to Beverly and Dave Vandermolen, the people who have stuck with me for 4 years now? 33, 34, forever? Seems like forever. They have stuck with me and been my managers and co-workers for a very, very long time. So I think we should start the show. What are we doing next, Sonia?
Fall.
Oh, yes. And I told you before when we did this, I sang this to a young girl when I was in college who was a music major, and I was supposed to have been practicing Bach, I think. And she came into the practice room and said, "What are you working on?" I said, "Well, I'm working on an arrangement of When I Fall in Love." She said, "Sing it to me." I did. And she said, "I hate you." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Well, you made me cry." So like this. In a restless world like this is, love is ended before it's begun, and too many moonlight kisses seem to cool in the warmth of the sun. When I give my heart, it will be completely, or I'll never give my heart. And the moment I can feel that you feel that same way too is when I'll fall in love with you. In a restless world like this is, love is ended before it's ever begun, and too many moonlight kisses seem to cool in the warmth of the sun. When I give my heart, it will be completely, love that song. Oh, 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 do I love that. I think that was the first step in Jane and my, maybe not the first step. It was one of the early steps anyway. We hardly knew each other at that time. When I was in high school, I decided that the only way for me to be cool in school was to become a rock and roll singer. I went to a very uptight religious high school, and there was generally a prejudice against rock and roll music. I was in the choir, and Mrs. H was our choir director, a very well-trained, lovely classical choral director. And I had a hard time making friends, so I thought, well, maybe if I make rock and roll music, people will like me and come and listen to my music and, think I'm special. So for a couple of years, every single day in the choir room at lunch hour, I sat at the piano and sang rock and roll songs, made up my own songs. It sang the songs of all the people who were popular at the time, Elvis Presley, the Everly Brothers, Connie Francis, all those people. And so I made up my own songs as well. And I want to sing you a couple of the songs that I made up. This is 1959, yes? And these are the songs that rang through the halls of Grand Rapids Christian High School with some protest, I think, from some faculty. Mrs. H said, "Oh, Ken, if you sing that horrible music, you'll ruin your singing voice." Yeah, but the thing is, she never closed the door, never locked the door. Maybe she knew I needed to sing that music. Anyway, first piece is called "I Love You in the Morning." Imagine the halls of a very private, close-kept, sort of very spiritual school resounding to the sounds of ha! Well, I love you in the morning, love you at night, love you on my bed when the moon is shining bright. I said, yeah, I said, yeah, I said, yeah, yeah, yeah. I love you when you're sweet, I love you when you're mean, I love you on my bed when you're my teenage queen. I said, yeah, I said, yeah, I said, yeah, yeah, yeah. You can be as mean as you want to be. Baby, you're sure looking good to me. Well, I love you in the morning, I love you at night, I love you on my bed when the moon is shining bright. I said, yeah, I said, yeah, 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 yeah. You're so looking good to me. Well, I love you in the morning, love you at night, love you on my baby when the moon is shining bright. I said, yeah, I said, yeah, I love you, baby, and I'm all shook up. Well, the one that became the most popular one was a piece called "Foolish, Foolish Heart." I think it was when I had a crush on Joanne, and I realized that the relationship was never going to come to fruition. We even went to a concert or a basketball game or something, but oh well, it was not to happen. But this is the song. Oh, foolish, foolish heart, why do you cry? Why do you cry? Foolish heart, please tell me why. You tell me why. Foolish heart, why are you crying for her? Oh, 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 foolish, foolish heart, you'll never, never get her. You'll never get her. Foolish heart. Wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be better just to forget her? go find somebody new. Whoa, 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 whoa. Please stop your crying, my poor old foolish heart. If you don't stop your crying, you're gonna tear my soul apart. Foolish, foolish heart. You stop your crying, whoa, whoa, whoa. Foolish heart. Please stop your lying, foolish, foolish heart. She'll never, never be mine. So there's my nod to the 50s and early 60s. What's next on the show? Time. Ooh. Sonia is going to have a particular connection with this piece because it's called There Will Be Time. And it was a hot day. It was about 100 degrees in San Francisco. My son and daughter-in-law were getting married at the Swedenborgian church. And the church has a tradition of lighting a fire in the fireplace as a sign of welcome to guests. And it works a lot. It works on a lot of good San Francisco days because San Francisco has a lot of sort of nasty, cold, damp, rainy, sort of crummy days. Even in the summer, you can have, sort of cool, kind of drizzly days. This particular day in the fall was 100 degrees, about 100 degrees. The fire was going. Everybody was perspiring to beat the band. And this is a song I wrote for my son and daughter-in-law's wedding. Yeah. This is a promise we dare to make. This is the turn in the road we dare to take. This is our intention, our commitment sublime. This is the promise we will make time. Time to weep and time to dance. Time to cherish and time to chance. Time to work, time to wonder, time for diving deep into unknown waters. Time to build and time to break. Time to teach and time to take. Time to make and time to move. Time for laughter and time to love. This is the promise we dare to make. This is the turn in the road we dare to take. This is our intention, commitment sublime. This is our promise. We will make time. Maybe we'll have years and years to walk the maybe we'll have months or weeks and one last lovely night. We will breathe the breath of life, alive to every moment. All our time is treasured time, so rich, so rare, so right. This is the promise we dare to make. This is the turn in the road we dare to take. This is our intention, commitment sublime. This is our promise. We will make time.
You surprised me. Thank you. I love it. Got onions in here. It's not me. Okay.
And they have made time. I couldn't be prouder of anybody than I am of my wonderful son and daughter-in-law. Jane and I together are very proud of our kids. What's next on the agenda?
Next is afraid.
Oh, okay. If you'll make the call and let me begin this process. One of my musical mentors, one of my musical heroes, is a fellow named Charlie Brown. Not the cartoon Charlie Brown, but the real Charlie Brown, the honest-to-goodness Charles F. Brown from, which way do I hold? From Beeville, Texas. And I think we have Charles F. Brown on the phone. Charlie, are you there?
It says FaceTime unavailable.
Bummer. Let's try it again. Let's try it again.
If we should have it facing. Yeah. Okay.
There we go. And how do you want it?
Just face it like
okay.
that.
Charles F. Brown, are you there, sir?
I am, as far as I can tell.
As far as you can tell. Yeah. Charlie comes from Beeville, Texas, and he has a drawl, the likes of which I'm making fun of you, my friend.
I noticed that.
Charlie is the proud father of some wonderful, wonderful boys, and is the husband of Robin Brown, who, in fact, for years was one of the top studio singers in Dallas and sang with me a couple of times, did some duets with me. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Ken.
And Charlie, I want us to remember, in introducing the song, Why Am I Afraid to Love, I want us to remember when we did a recording session in London years and years and years ago. Do you remember that session?
I do. In fact, I looked it up, and this was the album we did.
Oh, was it Through the Eyes of Love? Was that the one?
Yes.
Wow. There was a song on there called Why Am I Afraid to Love? And we decided to do it with just piano and voice and string quartet, if I remember. Was that right?
Yes. Do you remember why?
No.
Because Bill Purcell, who was doing the arrangements, didn't get two of them done.
So it's the morning of the recording session. You and I are experiencing major frustration because the thing is not done. So we're going to write a string quartet part or parts while riding on the train from the hotel to the studio. And we're going back and forth. Let's try this or try that. And I would shout some notes, and you would take them down. And let's make this part a little different. And the people on the train must have thought, what in the world are these strange Americans doing? But as I remember, when we got to the studio, you went to the copier immediately. And by the time the quartet got there, we had music on the stand, right?
Right.
It was great fun. I just want...
Do you remember... Okay, by the way, I can't see you right now. I can see your camera.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to see.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what-
okay. My mistake. I'm old and I do not understand all this stuff. What would happen, Ken, is that you would sing you'd say, this is what the violin does. And you'd sing it.
Oh, okay.
This is what the second violin does. And you'd sing it. And that's all I did was sing it down. And it worked.
It did indeed. Charlie, I want to tell you, you are one of my musical mentors and heroes, and I am so grateful that you are in my life. I'm going to sing now this piece, Why Am I Afraid to Love? Thank you for joining us on the show, and to all of our friends who know us mutually. Isn't it great to hear Charlie's drawl and see Charlie's face? Bye, Robin.
He doesn't draw.
Bye, Robin. Bye, Charlie. Wonderful,
Bye-bye again.
wonderful to be with you. Take care and hear me. Why am I afraid to love? Am I afraid of losing what I give in love? Am I afraid of giving what's not wanted? Am I afraid that somehow you will turn me away? Why am I afraid to love? Am I afraid of loving only for myself? Am I afraid my love will be untaken? Am I afraid that you use me if I pour out my heart? Why am I afraid to love? Am I afraid of bleeding? Am I afraid of pleading? Am I afraid of trying? Am I afraid of crying? Am I afraid of dying? All for love. All for love. Oh, Jesus, love me now again, I pray. Hold me close to your breast and let me stay. Let perfect love work in me, casting out my fears. Teach me not to be afraid to love. No, not to be afraid to love. You know how hard it is to love. Before we go further, let me just say a couple of things. Number one, let me tell you about next week's program. My wife and I were having a conversation the other day. She, as you may know, she finished she finished an MDiv in seminary, Master's in Divinity, and then most of a PhD in psychology. And so we talk a lot about theology and psychology in our house. And she said, why don't you do a concert on this thing called depression? We have a lot of depression and despair these days. I'm not going to use the word depression. I'm going to call the concert Down Under. Not down under as in Australia. Down under as in drowning. Under a weight. Maybe up against a wall, under a rock. In that place where it's hard to move. Jane said it the other day. She said, I feel like I'm just up against a wall. And I think a lot of people are feeling that way. Some people who are listening to this, you deal with clinical depression. You deal with chemically caused depression. And you're working through therapy and you're working through medication to change that. Some of us are experiencing a kind of depression and despair because of COVID. We're being alone. We're not able to go to work. We're not able to do a lot of the things that we could do. So I decided I wanted to try this. And it's scaring me a little bit because I don't know. I don't know if I can pull it together. I think we can. I've asked several friends to write comments about how it feels to be down under or up against a wall or, sort of under that heavy rock. And if you have words to say about that, I would love to hear them. Email me, ken@kenmedema.com. I'd love to hear from you. It will be really important. So that's next week's program. The week after that, we're going to do a program called 6 Feet Apart. And it's going to deal with some of the same kind of material. It's going to deal with this whole idea of distancing. What happens when I am distanced from you, physically or psychologically or emotionally? So we're going to try to deal with some distant stuff. Now, mind you, we're not going to heal anything. We're going to simply say, these are realities. These are things that people are going through. These are things that people are suffering. Let's admit it, let's name it, and let's try to sing about it a little bit. And I'm going to trust that you will stick with me because many of us know people, and many of us are going through it ourselves. So there you go. That's the next two programs. And I want to mention to you, if you want to contribute to this work, you can donate to interluderetreats.org. There's a donate thing, isn't there, on the Facebook?
The link is
There's
there.
a link there. And so you can donate to that. You can go on our website, kenmedema.com, and figure out how to do that. People have been so very generous. I am just thrilled with this. And you can also go on our website and download one song. If you download one song, if everybody downloads one song, whoo-hoo, wow, we'll be in great shape. What's next on the show?
Life.
Ha! In My Life. This is a song that I wrote. Just being grateful. I have gone through some times when I really didn't quite know who I was or where I was or what I was doing. I felt confused. I felt sort of thrashing around, trying this and that here and there. And Jane and some other friends really were the guiding light to help me find my way back. And so this is called In My Life. As I look down the ways I have walked in my life, and I see choices made in the heat of my life, I can see that if I knew everything that I know now, that I might have changed the ways of my life, my life. and the pain in my life. It took lessons to learn what you mean in my life. And though I must admit that I have learned to slowly, I would like to say loud and clear that I wouldn't want to be without you in my life. In my life, wouldn't want to be without you. Wouldn't want to be without you in my life. No, no. Wouldn't want to be without you in my life. Yeah, certainly feels good to find your way back from some strange and troubling places. What's next?
Cool beat.
It's another wedding song. This is the song I wrote for the wedding of my daughter Rachel and her husband Dennis. The wedding was an outside wedding. We were at a spot called the Lazy Z up near Yosemite. It was an outdoor wedding. And one of my fondest memories was that, as you know, I have a little tiny bit of vision. I can see light and dark. I can see, for example, where all the windows are, and I can see, no, I can't see Sonia as a dark blob. Sometimes I can. Sonia, you're a dark blob sometimes.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. So anyway, with a little bit of vision that I have, I could actually see well enough to walk my daughter down the aisle. And that was pretty exciting. This is a song I wrote for her and for her husband, Dennis. It's called Who'll Be the One? Let's see, a little bit more. Who'll be the one to run with me into unknown futures, finding our way through brightest days and darkest nights? Who'll hold me close and pull me out when the house is burning, waking with me to know the joy of morning light. Who'll be the one to shout with me when my heart is bursting, holding my dreams, weeping with me when hope seems lost? Who'll help me dance when all the music is unfamiliar, finding my best, sharing this life no matter what the cost? to celebrate with you. Circles of love, friends and family gathered round you, companions you trust to give you hope and health and home. Circles of love, see they open and grow wider. One circle of love, surely this is what we have become. One who stands beside you when promises are made. The one who wears your ring today when lifelong plans are made. The one who will be with you until the journey's done. The one who stands beside you now. This is the one. Circles of love, friends and family gathered round you, companions you trust to give you health and hope and home. One circle of love, see they open and grow wider. One great circle of love. Surely this is what we have They've been married now for almost 9 years, almost 9 years, and it's going well. I'm proud of them too, proud of all of our kids. What's next?
Next is The Way You Do.
The way you do. Okay, so before we got married, I wrote a song for Jane, and it wasn't. It was a love song, and it was kind of like there's nothing half so beautiful as you, and the lyrics were kind of more smushy than we wanted. So made Jane feel self-conscious. So I've changed the lyrics a little bit, and this reflects the two of us after 55 years. And so let's see if this is. No soft winter snow, no river cherished a dream, and I searched everywhere, and then I woke up, and better than a dream, you were standing there. My heart the way you do. The year was 1965. We were so young and so alive. People said, don't worry, don't doubt, everything will be working out. Crazy kids, we didn't have a clue about all the changing time would do. Here we are after 55 years till death do us part. I cherished a dream, and I searched everywhere, and then all at once my dream came true, and you were standing there, better than a dream. You were standing there, and we were wide awake. No song of a morning dove, no star in the sky above. There's nothing at all, my love, holds my heart the way you do, holds my heart the way you do, holds my heart the way you do. Just a couple of reminders. Next week, the show is called Down Under, and it's about being up against a wall, down under a rock, drowning, without seeming options. Where do I go from here? Where do I go from here? What do I do now? And how do I get feeling alive again? How do I not be in this place? And we don't claim to answer those questions. All we claim to do next week is to say, these are realities, and there is comfort in knowing that you are not alone. There are people going through this with you. And for many of us, there is comfort in our faith. So, oh man, what's next on the show?
Just when.
Yeah, we're going to skip Just When.
And love.
And then we're going to go to the end.
Which is love.
Yeah. I'm going to do a mashup of two songs. One is the Beth Nielsen Chapman song called How We Love. And the other is my song called And This Is Love. And to me, this perhaps is the climax of the show. This is really the nuts and bolts of it. This is the big one. Not in terms of big sound, but in terms of big meaning. Oh, and don't forget, if you want to help keep this work alive, donate to Interlude. The smallest contribution, we have some friends who donate $5 a month, $10 a month, and those things help. And your thoughts and prayers, tell friends about next week's program. And if you have some comments about that place that one goes under the rock or drowning or whatever, write them to us, would you? Really, I would love to have some words from you. Life has taught me this. Every day is new. And if anything is true, all that matters when we're through is how we love. Given what we lack, some things fall apart. From the ashes, new things start. All that matters to the heart is how we love. How we love. How we love. In the smallest act of kindness, in a word, a smile, a touch. In spite of our mistakes, chances come again. If we lose or if we win, all that matters in the end is how we love. And this is love, and this is love, that a man lay down his life for his friends. And this is love, and this is love, that a woman lay down her life for her friends. You have heard it said, love your friends and hate your enemies. And yet I say to you, love your enemies too. And if you love me, do those things I command you. Love one another as I have loved you. Sometimes we forget. Try to be so strong in this world of right and wrong. All that matters when we're gone, all that mattered all along, all we have to carry on next week, let's sing our All Through the Night song. I'll sing the verse, I'll sing the phrases, and you sing the All Through the Night, okay? Remember, next week, please write us some comments. We'd love to be able to read some things that come from you. Maybe a story, or just, oh, I know how it feels. This is what I went through. Or when I was going through my cancer, I had this sense of coming to the emotional end of my road, and I didn't know where to turn. Write to us. Go, my friends, and hope attend you. May she peace and courage send you. May she ever stand beside you, in her loving kindness hide you, through the treacherous darkness guide you. All walk the roads and busy highways, trudge the dark and lonely byways. Touch the sorrow and the sadness, dance with those who long for gladness, be the comfort in the madness. Wash the feet of friend and stranger, be the shelter in the danger. You have light, the night confounding. May the Spirit be surrounding. In your soul, the song is sounding. All through the night. Thanks, Charlie Brown. Thanks, everyone. See you in a week.